Let's move on to the next game. It's Monday Night Football. And oh boy, there's all kinds of intrigue about this. This is a media person's absolute Disneyland right here, because no matter what happens, it's going to create headlines from Old Trafford. It's 20th place, bottom of the table, Manchester United. Turmoil. It's been another tumultuous week in United circles. They take on their rival in Liverpool, coming off back-to-back draws. Darwin Nunez suspended for this one, and the most injuries of any team in the Premier League heading into this one. Out for Liverpool, the aforementioned Nunez suspended. Thiago, Jones, the Ox, Konaté, Matip, Firmino. Jota is questionable and is more likely to be out for this game as well. Questionable, he's back training for Manchester United, is Anthony Martial. Head-to-head, these two sides have gone over 2.5 goals in the last 5 times they played. Liverpool has scored 2 or more in their last 4 games against Manchester United, including going 9-0 on aggregate last season, a 4-0 win and a 5-0 win away at Old Trafford. United is without a clean sheet in 7 games. Some will say without a hope as well. Liverpool without a clean sheet in 5. First to concede in 4 of their last 5. And they've actually gone on to lose the first half in 4 of their last 5 games. Pinnacle's offering the best price for an away win for Liverpool at -175. So which side of the equation do you favor? The dysfunctional Manchester United or the depleted Liverpool heading into this one?
Yeah, I think that Liverpool could have me up front and I'd still be back in Liverpool to win. I think that there's a massive gulf between these two teams, even if it is Liverpool's B team. I say B team, they're still quality players, aren't they? This has the. I think if Nunez was obviously available, I think this could be another 5-0. With him out of there, I think I'd probably reduce that to maybe 3-0. They're just, the 2 sides of the coin. So Manchester United, they've been humiliated in the opening few games. They've been bullied by Brighton and Brentford. They look like one of the easiest teams to play against. Defensively, they are all over the place. They're conceding chance after chance. 3.5 expected goals against over 2 matches. So it's an average of 1.75 per game. If they continue at that same rate, Liverpool will have a field day with this Manchester United defence. Because for all the sort of negativity around Liverpool, the fact that they've drawn their opening 2 matches, they've created 2.39 expected goals and 2.36 expected goals in their first 2 matches. So they are still creating a hatload of chances. In both the matches, based on the chances created in by them and their opponents, Liverpool would have won the match against Fulham 62% of simulations and 55% of chance against Crystal Palace. So basically, they've been very unfortunate in both matches not to come away with 3 points. So even more impressive, the fact that they put up those kind of performances while missing key players. I don't see anything other than a Liverpool win. The way in which Manchester United are attacking at the moment is really tame. Even if Nat Phillips plays again at centre-half, he might get turned a few times, but I'll come back to it. I've been saying this to a couple of my friends all week. It's the opening 2 matches of the season for Man United, Brighton and Brentford. They couldn't have been the most, or they were probably the 2 most difficult fixtures that United will face in this first half of the season, purely because Ten Hag wants to play an expansive style of football, and Brighton and Brentford are 2 of the most organised pressing teams in the league. Who's another organised pressing team? Liverpool, but they've got a hell of a lot more quality in and around the forward areas than those 2 teams have. So if the trends continue and United continue to try and play out from the back and playing people like De Gea, whose distribution's terrible, Eriksen at deep line mid, who really struggling for confidence. If they continue to play the likes of Fred and Fernandes, and particularly Fernandes, who just throws his arms up and moans all the time, I think Pinnacle should probably set up a market for over or under arm throws on Fernandes and set it at 15.5. I'd definitely take the over in that one. Then Liverpool will just absolutely carve them apart. And yeah, Nunez is out. That's a problem. Firmino, Klopp was saying yesterday that he thinks he might be fit for this. Even if he's not, I would love to see Fabio Carvalho in the team because he came on against Fulham and looked really lively. come on against in the Community Shield looked really lively. I think having him playing out wide left, you could drop Salah into the middle, and all of a sudden that front three still looks dangerous. I still think that Liverpool will win this comfortably. So the odds on, I was pleasantly surprised to see that we can get Liverpool -1 on the Asian handicap near evens. So looking at -102. Basically, that means that if Liverpool win by 1 goal, we get our money back. If they win by 2 or more, we get a winner. And I can't see them, A, not winning this game. So in which case we should get his money back at the very least. And B, I think they'll cover the handicap quite comfortably.
Okay. A lot to get into here, a lot to respond to. Liverpool's missing too many players for me to back at all, even considering how poor United's been through their first 2 games. Look, like the first goal that De Gea conceded against Brentford, that won't happen again. You can't legislate for that. Same goes for the second goal. Just a lazy pass in his own 18-yard box. Those goals like that will not happen again. Perhaps set piece goals, perhaps goals against the run of play. I absolutely understand that. But the first 2 goals that kind of set the wheels in motion, that will not happen again. I think message has been delivered. These players, as poorly as they're playing, are not as bad as they've been showing. There has to be some kind of response, doesn't there? 9 days later, the pressure, playing at home at Old Trafford, not only against your rival, but your rival who doesn't even resemble itself right now because of players not being available. Nunez being sent off, suspended for the upcoming game. That was like the olive branch being extended to United, saying, go on, do something. We're going to try to give you any type of advantage possible to dig your way out of this. Now, I don't know if United's going to win this game, and it's very difficult to back a team when they're playing this poorly. But I will say this, I think the outside noise paints a much more negative picture than what's actually happening on the field. The media loves to cover this team. It accentuates everything, the rumors, the innuendo. I try to stay away from that as much as possible. I just look at a team that's underachieved thus far in the season, a team that has created some chances, a 3.2 XG so far isn't anywhere near the worst that we've seen in the Premier League through 2 games. They can create chances, and Liverpool's back line is suspect. Without Konaté, without Matip at the back, Van Dijk, I mean, he's been at least partially responsible for 2 Liverpool goals conceded already. We already understand the weakness at right back. We'll see if Marcus Rashford can come alive in this game. I just think that this game might be a little bit more close than some people would suggest. My favorite play in this one is actually United to score a first half goal. I'm going to stay away from the result, but United to score a first half goal. Again, Liverpool, that's been their MO. They've been the first to concede 4 of their last 5 games. I like United to score a first half goal at +154. That would be my favorite play for this game.
Yeah, I personally haven't got Man United scoring at all. I think you mentioned about the amount of chances they've created in terms of the XG, but a lot of that is down to game state. I mean, Brighton were 2-0 up at half time. United had to attack and create chances, and that's how they racked up the XG. Same for Brentford. Brentford took an early lead, and all of a sudden United are behind the 8 ball, so they have to create chances. If those games were played at level for a longer period of time, I don't think we would have seen United threaten too much, because they're still working it out. They're still working the system out. The players are massively low on confidence. And like I said, I still think that Liverpool team that will play on Monday night, you've still got Alisson in the net, who's probably one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the world. Trent, Van Dijk, Joe Gomez should be fit for it. He obviously played a bit against Crystal Palace. Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho are fit. Harvey Elliott played well on Monday night. Carvalho, Salah, Diaz or Firmino as a front three. I still think that is just absolutely streets clear of what Man United have got to offer. And yeah, personally, I'm all over a Liverpool covering a handicap. I think they'll win it quite comfortably.
All right.
Yeah, Man United fans, I think it's going to be very much the theatre of nightmares on Monday.
It could very well be. And look, therein is the risk. I make that play with very little confidence whatsoever. And I take my, I'm a United supporter. I'm taking that out of the equation. I think these players, I think the entire club right now is absolutely appalling. But I'm just looking at this like straight up the way that the two matches last year played out, the humiliation that they suffered, the fact that this isn't pressure. This is prove it to me. We're at a prove it to me point, and we're unsure recording this on Tuesday if any other players are coming in by the end of the week. What Erik ten Hag's status, where his mindset is heading into this one as well. But the club, if they go out and get smashed at home against Liverpool on Monday night, you always say, has the club hit rock bottom? I think that would be just about it. Could it get any worse if they go and get smashed by a Liverpool side without, 4 or 5 regulars in their team? I just talk about humiliation. And there has to be some kind of adjustment as well. Eriksen playing a 6, it simply doesn't work. He won't play there. Luke Shaw, I'd be shocked if he started. He shouldn't start. Varane should be in the starting 11. Ten Hag's not a fool. Like you said it on our opening podcast. He's a good manager. We're expecting better things. He's just got to find the right mix. I don't think he's had the proper 11 starting from the get-go in these games, and he's been playing from a deficit. Now it's time to get things right with 9 days to prepare for your biggest rival coming in depleted. I can't back Liverpool at the numbers that I'm seeing right now. That's why United to score in the first half. That's my best play for this game.
Yeah, no, I understand, and you'd hope and you'd think it can't get any worse for United, but from what we've seen so far, it is only going to get worse because he is, he's playing with the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and again and trying to expect different results. I mean, how many more games are you going to play Lisandro Martinez at centre half before you realise he cannot play there in this league?
I don't buy that. I don't buy that narrative.
He should be playing centre defensive midfield. He's got the ball playing technique to be able to pick the ball up from the goalkeeper as they like and to sort of pin the base of the midfield. He should be stepping in there, in my opinion, or you play as a back three, because I didn't understand the signing in terms of, like, he's a great footballer, but when you've got Liverpool signing Núñez, who's 6'3", City signing Haaland, who's 6'3", you've got Mitrovic in the league, Kiefer Moore starting every week in the league. Like, these are big guys. He can't mark them. Like, even from set pieces, it puts a massive disadvantage to Manchester United. And like I say, I'm a fan of him as a player. But the way in which teams are targeting him, surely you've got to pull him out of this at some point and play him and try and at least save his confidence.
See, but he hasn't played a Mitrovic. He hasn't played a Kiefer Moore yet.
Ivan Toney's the same kind of mold, and he had a field day last week.
Yeah, but that's not why they lost 4-0. I mean, the goal in the far post, Toney won the corner kick when Christian Eriksen was mad marking him. Both Martinez and Ben Mee were losing their balance and were falling over. That had nothing to do with height. That had more to do with the awkwardness of Manchester United not winning the first ball and that second ball being available on the far post. I understand how it could be a problem at some point, but Martinez also statistically won the most aerial challenges in terms of percentage and number in top European leagues over the course of last season. I understand that Holland's not England. I get it, but this is nowhere near the biggest issue of concern for this United side. The fullback positions, the central midfield, the lack of production from wide areas. These are all much more pressing concerns for United than Lisandro Martinez at center back for me. I'd even say the lack of pace of Harry Maguire is probably a little bit more of an issue, and not playing Rafa Varane, who's one of the top center backs in the world, in a starting role. These are all bigger concerns for me.
I guess the question there is that I agree. I think midfield's a massive concern. I don't know why they've not strengthened it, but why spend 50 million on another centre half when you've got Varane and Lindelof? And I don't think Lindelof's been done too much wrong.
Left-footed player. He wants a left-footed centre back. For some reason, United didn't have one before, which seems absolutely crazy.
I mean, Liverpool don't play with a left-sided centre half, do they? Van Dijk's not bad. He plays left centre half. But I accept that it opens the play up a lot more if you have someone on the left side who's left-footed, because they're not awkwardly trying to play it with the right foot. But yeah, I just think that the sooner that he pushes him into holding midfield, I think we'll start to see the best of him and Manchester United, unless they go out and sign a good holding midfielder, which I'm just reading now as we're recording. They've announced their interest in Moses Caicedo, the Brighton holding midfielder, who had a really good game against Man United. So if that's no motivation for anybody in a lesser team, just have a good game and you might get signed.
And they were linked to Casado at 4.5 million coming out of Ecuador a few years back. And guess what? Now they're paying a premium on
Probably
players that
10
they should
times
have.
that, right?
It's insane the way the club's being run, and there's no justifying it. And that's part and parcel of why the club is where they're at right now.
I think we could do a
this
separate podcast, couldn't we, on Man United?
Yeah, I think that people have. I think they continue to. It's content gold each and every day. So dissenting views on that one. I love it. We'll see how it plays out.